Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savakutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vikshakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhayeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So now we'll chant a prayer to Lord Shri Krishna. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatripatamaham vande paramanandam madhavam. So today we'll be hearing different stories from the Ramayan, which is ancient scripture, which is written by the sage Valmiki. And Ramayan consists of 24,000 shlokas, verses. And then it is divided into 7 khandas. 7 khandas is 7 parts. So the first part is Bala Khanda, which we are going to discuss today. And the Bala Khanda describes about the childhood pastimes of Lord Ram. And then the second one is Ayodhya Khanda, which describes about the Khanda, the timings after marriage of Lord Ram with Sita and crowning like Rajya Abhishek. And then Aranya Khanda, which is the exile, the 14 years when Lord Ram were in the forest. Then Kishi Kindak is the Ram and Lakshman when they meet Hanuman. And then Sundarkand, everybody knows, is the adventures of Hanuman. And then is Yuddha Khanda, which is the Lanka adventures where Ram and Ravana had a fight. And then is the Uttara Khanda, and which is the birth of Lord Ram's kids, that is Love and Kush. And that's the end of his exile. And then they come back, Lord Ram, Sita and Lakshman, they come back to Ayodhya. Okay. So Ramayan, we hear Ramayan from generations after generations. And then Ramayan is also, heard in other countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Jamaica, Africa too. But there is little different because of the culture. Like in Indonesia, Ravana is a crocodile. So there's a difference, but they also have Ramayan. And now let's start the Ramayan. Is very, very long time ago, there was a king, and the king's name was Dashrath. And his name was Dashrath, and he was very, very famous because he could fight in 10 different directions simultaneously. So Dashrath, you say Das is 10 and Rath is chariot. So he was so famous, like he used to help the demigods and the righteous kings to fight, because he was so well-versed that he could fight in 10 different directions at one time simultaneously. And then he was, Dashrath, King Dashrath is from the Ikshvaku dynasty, which is the sun dynasty. And then, and this is the picture. Look, Lord Dashrath king and their priest. The priest of the Sun dynasty is Rishi Vashishtha. So they both are worshipping the sun. And sorry about it. Sorry. They worship Lord Sun. And then Dashrath Maharaj, he has a wife, and the wife's name was Kaushalya. And they had a daughter. Their daughter's name was Shanti. But they never had peace in their family, because King Dashrath was always very unhappy because he didn't have a son. So he was worried that who will carry forward his dynasty. So then he married Sumitra. And then with Sumitra, he had no children. And then he was getting old. So he got so worried, what do I do? His kingdom was expanding. So he consulted their priest, sage Vashishtha, and he asked him, what should I do? And then sage Vashishtha said, oh, you should go to Kaikaya. And Kaikaya is a place at the border of Afghanistan. Now it is known as Sindh region. He said, you go there, and King Kaikaya has a daughter, and her name is Kaikeyi. So you can ask her for a marriage. So then King Dashrath, he goes all the way to Kaikaya, and then he meets the king, and then he asks for his daughter's hand. And then King Kaikaya says, oh, you already have 2 wives, and if you marry my daughter, so then if your Sumitra and Kaushalya, if they have any children, then my daughter's kids will not be the heir to the kingdom. So, but he says now, I think they are very old enough, and till now they didn't have any kids, so I don't think they'll have it anymore. But Kaikeyi will have a kid. So, because King Sage Vashishtha had told him to do some yagya with which he could have kids. So then he said, but if you say so, but then you have to give it to me in writing. So he said, okay. So in those days, when the Kshatriyas used to marry, they used to write a will, and it used to be known as Kanya Shulka, like Kanya Shulka. Shulka is will. So then he wrote in the will saying that whoever is born to Kaikeyi will enjoy my kingdom, even if my other wives produce children later. So only 3 people knew the secret, and those 3 people were, the Vashishtha, Sage Vashishtha, the King Kaikeyi, and King Dashrath. So only three of them knew, because then Dashrath said that if the other queens knew, then they would say that the younger queen is, he's partial to the younger queen, that's Kaikeyi. So then what happened is, but when they got married, and then when Kaikeyi was leaving, so his father, King Kaikeyi, he told his daughter the secret. He said that this is what it is. So he has given this will, so your children will be the heir to the kingdom. So then she also knew the secret. And then Sage Vashishtha told King Dashrath okay, so you have to perform a yajna, and the name of the yajna was Putra Kama Ishti Yajna. So he said, okay, so then look here, they are performing the yajna. So when the yajna was performed, can you see the fire? So the fire god appeared from the fire, and then he had a pot of nectar, and in the pot was sweet rice. I think all the children, you love sweet rice, right? Sweet rice is kheer. So then the sun god gave the pot of the sweet rice to King Dashrath, and he said, now you can feed your wives with this nectar, and then you will have kids. So the King Dashrath, he took the pot from the sun god, and then the sun god disappeared. And then what happened? So then he went to his palace. And then when he went to the palace, all his queens, so all the three wives, Kaushalya, Sumitra, and Kaikai, they were thinking, what is he having in his hand? So they went and asked him, King, what do you have in your hand? What's inside the pot? So then King told them that this is how I performed the yajna, and the fire god gave me this pot of kheer, and now you can eat this kheer. So then he hands over the pot to Kaushalya, who is the eldest. So then what she does is she takes half of it and she eats it. And then the other half, they divide it into two, one for Sumitra and one for Kaikai. So then Kaikai has her share, and then when she finishes, they see there is something left in Kaikai's pot. Sumitra has it again. She has her own pot, and then she has a little bit from Kaikai's pot. So she has it twice. So then what happened is, after a few months, then the King Dashrath, he gets a news that yes, all of them are going to have kids. So then 4 boys are born. So 4 boys are born, and Kaikai has a son, and then Kaushalya has a son, and then Sumitra has twins. And then he's so happy. He's so happy. And then he's having, like, you know, a celebration at his kingdom. He's giving charity. He's giving cows. He's giving gold. He's giving presents to all the maid servants. And then he sends a message to the sage Vashishtha. He said, oh, so then the messenger goes and delivers the message to the sage Vashishtha that 4 sons are born. And then sage Vashishtha, he comes to the kingdom with a lot of Brahmins along with him to do a puja. So then king gives them also. And then they do a puja for the kids. And then what happens is the ladies, you know, of the kingdom, they also go and then they sing songs, and then they are dancing. They also go to the palace, and then there's so much of festival and celebration going on, because after a very, very long time, the King Dashrath had 4 sons. So then what happens is the queens are so happy. Look, you can see all the 3 queens. You can see there are 2 boys in Sumitra's lap, and there is one in Kaushalya's lap, and there is one in Kaikai's lap. So then after 40 days, then they have a name-giving ceremony. And then King Vashishtha, he has a fire sacrifice, yajna, a puja at home. Look, all the Brahmins are sitting there. You can see the King Vashishtha also, King Dashrath, and all the 3 queens and the kids. And then what he does, is he gives the names. After 40 days, there is a name giving ceremony, and then King Vashishta names the kids. And the name of the kid of Kaushalya is Lord Ram. And the name of Kaikeyi's son is Bharat. And the twins of Sumitra are known as Lakshman and Shatrughan. And do you know what they signify? Lord Ram signifies Vishnu. And then Bharat, he signifies the Sudarshan Chakra of Krishna. And Lakshman is Sankarshan, and Shatrughan is the Panchajanya Kongshal. You know, Bharat, when they were having the fight, all the Pandavas, the Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, so they all had their own Kongshal, and each Kongshal had their own specific name. So Krishna's Kongshal is known as Panchajanya. And like, you know, Arjuna's Kongshal is Devadatta, and Bhim's Kongshal was known as Pondra. So look, this is all the 4 kids, you know, Lord Ram, and then you have Lakshman, then you have Shatrughan, and then you have Bharat, and then their mother, they are standing there, and then you have their father, King Dashrath. So look, I have this chart. You know, I think kids, you also do a family tree in your school. So this is the family tree of King Dashrath. So you have King Dashrath, then he has a family tree. He has 3 wives, Kaushalya, Sumitra, Kaikeyi, and then Kaushalya's son is Lord Ram. Sumitra's sons are Lakshman and Shatrughan, and then Kaikeyi's son is Bharat. So I think I think I am done. So kids, do you have any questions, or I can ask you some questions so you can raise your hands? Is that fine? Are you ready for some questions? Okay. Okay. So what was, you raise your hands and then I'll unmute you, or Prema Mataji, anybody can unmute them. Yes, so, okay. So who was the King Dashrath's? Oh, okay. You can name any wife of King Dashrath. You can raise your hand.
Vidisha.
Okay, Vishwa.
Yeah, Vishwa. Sorry. Yes, Vishwa.
Kaushalya, Kaikeyi, and Sumiti.
Okay, Sumitra. Okay, okay. And now somebody else will answer, okay? So what was Dashrath's eldest son's name? Advik.
What was the name?
What was the name of Dashrath's son?
Sumitra.
No, that was the wife, no? What was the son's name?
Son's name.
Do you know how many sons did he have?
4.
Yes, can you name them?
4. Yes, very nice.
Name
so
them.
You can name any name, any name.
Ram, Bharat, Lakshman, Shatrughan. Finish.
Very good, very good. Okay, okay. And then, oh, you have answered all the questions. Okay, what was the family priest's name of Dashrath, Sun Dynasty?
Means
family priest name?
What is priest?
Sage. Who was the family priest? Who said you have to do a yagya, then you have kids?
Vashisht. Sage Vashisht.
Yes. Sage Vashisht. Very nice, Adit.
And for 4 babies.
हाँ,
Ma'am, there are 3 wives
okay,
and 4 babies.
4 boys. Yes. Okay. Okay. And what else? I think that's it. So, did you like the story?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. Okay. So, we can sing a bhajan if there is time. Mataji, is it okay? Prema Mataji,
Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
is it okay to sing a bhajan?
Yes, Mataji. Perfect.
Excuse me, Mataji.
Yes, go ahead.
Mataji, I have a doubt.
Yes, go ahead. What's your doubt?
That King Dashrath has six children in all.
No, not 6, 5. 4 sons, and then he had one daughter from Kaushalya. Her name was Shanti.
Ma'am, your voice is low.
My voice is low.
No, I'm.
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
Mataji.
आपकी पूरी लो आ रही है वॉइस.
बानी, आप अपना स्पीकर का वॉल्यूम इंक्रीज करो, क्योंकि हम सभी के यहाँ पे बहुत अच्छे से वॉल्यूम आ रही है, तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है.
मैम मेरी वॉल्यूम सारी पूरी टॉप पे है.
ओके, आप सुनाई आ रहा है?
यस मैम.
हाँ, उनके 4 बेटे थे और एक बेटी थी, उसका नाम था शांति. ठीक है, सब 5 बच्चे थे टोटल. 6 नहीं, 5.
माता जी.
वेलकम. Okay, so let's sing.
मैम भजन.
Okay. Okay, can you see the screen?
No, माता जी.
No? अब दिख रहा है?
हाँ जी.
यस माताजी.
Yes, ma'am.
So ये सब आप सब भी गा सकते हो साथ में, अगर आप देख सकते हो तो. So we can start. राम जिनका नाम है, अयोध्या जिनका धाम है, ऐसे श्री रघुनाथ को बारंबार प्रणाम है. राम जिनका नाम है, अयोध्या जिनका धाम है, ऐसे श्री रघुनाथ को बारंबार प्रणाम है. कौशल्या जिनकी माता है, दशरथ जिनके बाबा है, ऐसे कृपा निधान को बारंबार प्रणाम है. राम जिनका नाम है, अयोध्या जिनका धाम है, ऐसे श्री रघुनाथ को बारंबार प्रणाम है. ठीक है? ओके, सो ये जो फैमिली ट्री वाला मैंने आपको दिखाया था ना अभी, So you guys can make, so you kids can do this as a homework. You make a family tree of Dashrath. So you can do, like, instead of star, you can do a circle, whatever. Just make a family tree of Dashrath and on a paper, and next week when we come, you show it to me. Is that fine?
Ma'am, you send a photo.
Photo of what?
यस
मैम जो आप
हाँ हम है ना व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में फोटो सेंड कर देंगे बेटा.
ओके, व्हाट्सएप में भेज देंगे.
ग्रुप है.
आर यू इन द व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप बानी?
नो मैम, मेरे को कोई व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप के बारे में.
हाउ डिड यू गेट द Zoom link? How did you get the Zoom link?
मधु माता जी, आप हैं कॉल?
हरे कृष्णा. हाँ जी माता जी.
हाँ माता जी, ये जो बानी है ना, ये आई थिंक आपने किन्हीं को दिया होगा, उधर से आई हैं ये बानी.
अच्छा.
whom send you the link?
भारती.
मैम मेरे को भारती दीदी ने सेंड करा लिंक.
अच्छा, हाँ माता जी, भारती सतवानी हमारे ग्रुप में है, तो उन्होंने भेजा होगा इनको.
हाँ तो माता जी आप उनको ऐड करवा दीजिएगा.
मैं करवा देती हूँ. यस.
ओके
श्योर.
मैम
यस
मैम उन्होंने कहा था कि उनका भी एक ग्रुप बना हुआ है.
ओके बेटा.
ओके बेटा. सो ये एक तो होगा कि आपको फैमिली ट्री ऑफ दशरथ महाराज का बनाना है, और एक और चीज मैं आपको व्हाट्सएप में भेजूंगी जो आप करके नेक्स्ट वीक दिखाना मुझे. ठीक है?
Okay, Mataji. So the family tree we have to show tomorrow?
No, next week, next Friday, beta.
Okay, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Tomorrow, Mataji, you are taking tomorrow?
जी माता जी, टुमारो भगवद गीता क्रैश कोर्स.
Okay. Okay. So same links, everything same, right? Same time.
Yes Mataji.
यस माता जी.
So kids, our 3 classes schedule is Friday, her grace LalitaMadhav Mataji take Ramayan class. Then Saturday Madhu Mataji take a crash course of Bhagavad Gita, and Sunday we have to do moral values at 4:30 p.m. So this is a small schedule of India group. So I request kids, you have a lots of friends, right? सभी के बहुत सारे फ्रेंड्स हैं, तो आप सभी अपने फ्रेंड्स को ये लिंक और ये बताइएगा, जिससे और बच्चे भी आ सकें और सभी को अच्छा अच्छा नॉलेज मिल सके. ओके?
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
थैंक यू माता जी.
हरे कृष्णा. थैंक यू सो मच लाइट.
Thank you.
वंशा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा
कृपा सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः.
वैष्णव की
हरि
जय,
बोल.
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, हर ग्रेस ललिता माधव प्रेमी माता जी की जय. थैंक यू.
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय. हरि बोल.
थैंक यू माता जी. थैंक यू सो मच.
हरि बोल.
हरि बोल.